So I just bought ChatGPT Pro, the $200 a month, the $200 a month subscription. I'm honestly like blown away. It just wrote this article. I think there's about 9,500 words of actually good stuff in it. I think I wrote it in like 8 minutes. I'm honestly blown away. So I've done like LinkedIn ghostwriting for a long time and obviously coach people on how to get clients on LinkedIn. AI's been good, but it hasn't got this good. This is way different. So today I'm just going to quickly show you, I'm going to keep this video quite short. I'm going to explain how I got it. Like, I obviously paid for the subscription, but how I used it to create content. I'm going to show you the prompts I used, and then I'm going to explain how to just take this AI content and actually turn it into clients. So it won't be good enough to just take this and post it. That always remains the same. I am going to give you the framework to be able to actually take this as a baseline for something that's really, really good, and then convert it, and how you can use it on LinkedIn. So first thing is the prompt. So I had a baseline prompt that I worked with, and I'm not going to read it out to you, but basically on the screen it says, I want to write an article, here's the title, here are the questions it should answer. Now before I went to write the article, I asked it to improve those questions, because if you just pause for a second, you'll see I use these for all my articles, and you'll see they're generic questions. But the better the questions are, the better the output is going to be. So I asked just normal ChatGPT to write me a more specific set of questions, which it did. Again, not going to read it out to you on screen, but if you just pause for a second, you can see that these questions are a lot more specific and pointed, so that when the deep research system works, which is what the model that will be used inside ChatGPT, then it will be able to create much better content on the back end. So I simply click the deep research button, entered this prompt, as you can see on the screen. It then asks you for a couple more questions, which it doesn't do on normal ChatGPT. So it asks you 3 simple questions. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 2. I answer these questions, and I try to give it extra points of relevance here when possible, because again, the more guidance it has, the smarter it can be, because the more specific it'll be. This link in here, which you'll have access to, is actually, this is the unedited the unedited output. So it's 9,500 words. You'll be able to click in and just read it. To me, this is probably, in terms of like text content, the tone can be improved a bit, and so on and so forth, but it's probably like a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. If you just take this and post it on LinkedIn, you will not get any clients from it, and that's what I'm going to cover in the next point. But we're kind of missing the point of what AI, the role of AI in creating content and getting you out there. So AI is an amplifier. It's not going to turn water into wine. It'll amplify what you do. So you have to get your ideas into it, and you have to distribute them well. So from this, I'm going to take this, do some light editing, but the first thing that I would do to add a lot of detail to it, I would probably break it down into different sections, and honestly, you can get multiple, like you get so many posts out of this, or multiple articles out of it. Again, I'm not going to go through it in detail, but I would break it down into different sections, and then I would add a video to each section. So in this image you're about to see on screen, this is my workflow for actually turning things like this into clients. So you can see here, there's a full video on this here, so I'm just going to let you go and watch that if you would like. But in short, what we do is we add a video, because video is the thing that that'll break the trust barrier to get going at the start. So break that big long article into different sections and add a short video, 3 to 5 minutes, to every single section. And in the video, explain what's on the text in a bit more detail and make it a bit more engaging, so that people can scroll through the text, but if they like the text, then they might want to hear you speak. And just as you're listening to me speak now, you trust me that small bit more because you've heard my voice and so on. And so that's a nice way to just speed up the trust building phase. Then we want to take that article that we finished, our series of videos, whatever it might be, we want to offer that to our audience as basically a lead magnet post, which is what you opted into today. This whole flow, and then that goes to warm outreach, it goes to cold outreach, it goes to follow-ups. So rather than breaking that down here, if you want to go and watch the video on this page, it breaks down the whole process of how you take a value resource or something useful like the AI content you created and bring that through the LinkedIn workflow on how to get clients. That's all the surface level kind of tactics and stuff that you've seen. What the idea that I want to really get across to you today is how to use this, or how to actually create the type of content that will help you get clients. So step by step educational content feels valuable, so just giving away the steps feels valuable because you're explaining what to do, but the real conversion happens when you're explaining the depth behind those steps and the fact that you know what those steps are. So explaining the psychological principles about, why certain LinkedIn hooks do well and why others don't, or the subtle reasons why behind each step, like why you chose that step to be in that way rather than any other way. So by doing this, you position yourself as an expert who knows exactly what to do at each step of the process, no matter what the variable is that might come up. And that's your IP. Like, as a service provider, people are basically buying into you based on your ability to deliver results. So the agreement is, you make a claim saying, for example, I'll help you get clients on, my claim is, I'll help you sign 1 to 5 clients on LinkedIn so you can add 30 to 50k per month over 12 months. If you solely in your heart believe me that that will happen when you work with me, you will sign and there's no objections. The issue in a lot of people's sales process and marketing is that they don't build up that trust enough in order to be able to do that. So they get on cold calls with leads and they don't trust them and so on, and then they don't pitch it very well. But if you're using content and videos just like the one I'm in now to build up trust around what you're doing and show that the inner workings, or what happens between the lines, the important stuff that actually gets results, that's how you create content that will result in leads. So for example, taking this AI generated article and then adding the video on top of that and layering in specific information, maybe a couple of stories in the video, shows that you know what you're talking about and you're not just parroting it on. So I'm doing this to you right now. So I'm peeling back the layers behind, the nuance in what type of content to create, how to use it, and so on. So you've probably heard all these tactics before, but maybe you haven't thought about them in this way. So that's what I'm trying to deliver here today. And it's the depth that I can get into that actually creates the trust. Like all the LinkedIn experts you'll see, they know, post daily, comment, blah, 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 all that, right hooks and all that. But I understand to a pretty high level, no matter what situation a B2B marketer is in, for example, I know what type of content that they can create that will attract clients for them, and I know how they should use it. That knowledge is my IP, and that's effectively what people buy into me for. I'm trying to get across in this video that I really know what I'm talking about, because I know that I know what I'm talking about, but maybe you don't, and you haven't had the chance to hear me speak about this for long enough. The perception doesn't happen by accident, so I'm intentionally trying to do these things by embedding authority within it. And again, you can do the same no matter what topic you're talking about, by talking about, giving insights behind the curtains, peeking behind the curtains and so on, so you can show it. So steps aren't enough, and here's an example. So just knowing how to get a PhD, like completing the coursework, writing and defending a dissertation, that doesn't make it easy, or it doesn't mean that you can do it. It's the steps, it's what's within those steps that actually the most important. So, the real value is how to guide people through those challenges if someone was a tutor, the strategies for getting around them, and then the support and insights to avoid the pitfalls so that you don't do it the wrong way and you do it the right way as soon as possible. I talked about this example here, but again, my offer was to help people sign clients every month on LinkedIn. Agency founders really like that offer, and I'd share my entire process with full transparency and break down every step and the nuance behind every step. But they didn't, they still will invest in me because they didn't have the time to do this themselves, or they would have done it already, or they didn't have the in-house resources to do it themselves, or they would have done it already. So then in that case, the sensible thing that they're going to do is they still want the result, and as long as I have an offer that makes sense at the right price point and they can get a good ROI, they're going to pay me to do that. And then it's my job to actually execute on what I say, and doing that creates a self-fulfilling positive loop of making a claim, getting a client, proving that you can do it with them, then becoming a case study, using that case study in future deals and so on. So this is all how you kind of create that positive feedback loop, and then you obviously post those case studies as content, and then you're just growing the brand. So the takeaway is AI generated content. To convert it, you have to add the deeper why behind each step, why, what to do with each step, why they should do that thing, and help prospects see the nuance and true value that you're going to bring to the table if you're working with them. So you can tell them the steps, but they can still go wrong in so many ways, whereas your content should say, hey, if I'll work with you, I'll make sure you do it right the first time, and it'll be expensive if you don't do it right. So this is how you build a powerful brand. This is how you build trust at scale. Videos like the one that you're watching, and when you do this repeatedly over time, pairing it with the systems and all the stuff that you hear about on LinkedIn, that's really what attracts high quality clients. So yeah, I hope you found this useful. If you'd like some help getting some high quality clients on LinkedIn, then reach out. There should be a button on this page to book a call. Let's have a chat with my team to see if it makes sense to work together. Otherwise, you know the steps, go use them. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers.